YouTube, how's it going? Well, not too awfully bad. A lot cooler these days, which is good because it had been horrendously hot for quite a long time. It's nice for some cooling to go on. And there's been a bunch of rain lately, and that's just kind of borderline because it's taking the temperature down a little bit too much. But what are you going to expect? It is now November. Yay! Sort of, kind of. Anyway, new Hermitcraft episode up. And in that episode I mentioned being kind of stuck design-wise for something. And there's been several people that have posted suggestions and ideas on Twitter. And I am very appreciative of those. I may very well use some of that. So that's really cool. In other news, the gaming channel is less than a good thick spit away from 100,000 subscribers. 100,000. That is like freaking wild. Unfreaking believable. You know, 10 years ago, I never believed it was possible. Not really. I mean, technically it's always possible, but I never really expected it to happen. Wow. Amazing. Oh, that's probably actually going to happen in the next day or two. Oh, that is crazy. Awesome crazy, but crazy, you know? Little old me with 100,000 subscribers, that's crazy. Yeah, but it's cool too. Anyway, got another fan fiction. This one is fun. Very fun. It is also quite long. You find it on Archive of Our Own. An item by author calls himself Gandalf's Beard. And the title of the work is Hermione's Furry Little Problem. This is a Harry Potter fan fiction, of course, and it starts off in the Chamber of Secrets story, where you remember where they do the polyjuice thing, and Hermione has a problem with hers. Her dose kind of goes a little wrong, and she refuses to come out. So Harry and Ron go off to use their polyjuice disguise to get into the Slytherin house and see if they can find out who is behind this whole heir of Slytherin thing. Yeah. Well, as it turns out, they don't find out anything useful except for the fact that Malfoy is a braggart. And they already know that. Yeah, and so they get back to where Hermione is in Moaning Myrtle's bathroom, which is where she brewed up the potion because it takes like a month. And it turns out she had a problem. The way the polyjuice works is you get the potion brewed up, and then you take a bit of hair from the person you want to disguise yourself as and look like, you mix that in and then drink the potion, and then for 1 hour you look like that person. Well, for Harry and Ron it worked. An hour after they took it, boom, they're back to themselves again. Hermione's didn't quite work that way. You see, when she picked a bit of hair off the girl she was going to copy, she got the wrong hair. Because apparently the girl in question had a cat. And so she got a bit of cat hair. And somewhere along the line it was mentioned specifically that it is very much not recommended to use non-human hairs in the polyjuice because it's not meant for that. And that presents problems. So they finally find out about the cat thing because they finally see Hermione and she looks like a cat girl. She looks like herself, only with cat fur and ears and a tail and the whole 9 yards, you know? Well, Ron does a Ron and he laughs and flakes off and goes away. Harry takes her over to the hospital wing to see what can be done to fix things. Now, in the canon story, a day or two later, she's normal again. Everything's fine. Not in this story. In this story, the change is basically permanent. Now, some of it gets reversed. She doesn't have the all-over fur. And, you know, like that. So she looks mostly like herself. But she still has the cat ears. And if I'm not mistaken, I believe the human ears are gone. She still has the tail and a bit of fur. Well, not only the fur on the tail, but the fur at the base of her spine where the tail comes out. She has a little bit of a cat-like shift to the bone structure of her face and whatnot. So she still looks like her, but you can look and see there's a feline influence in the bone structure. And of course she has the whiskers, the vertically slitted eyes, enhanced hearing, sight, sense of smell, and so on. Enhanced agility, always lands on her feet, you know, all that good stuff. And she also has 8 breasts. She has the 2 she started with, and below that there's 2 more that are about apparently, well, it doesn't, I don't think it exactly says, but smaller than the originals. And then down on her abdomen there is 2 more pairs that are completely undeveloped. Yeah, so cat girl Hermione. And to add to the story, instead of having her normal female cycle, instead she goes into heat every month. Yeah. And going into heat being defined as a situation where she's absolutely gotta. Now, one of the things about the story is, and it's written right there in the very beginning of the first part of it, that the author is talking about that one of the reasons he wrote this is that he was trying to work out writing, to get better at writing sex scenes that don't contain a lot of the more cruder ways of expressing things. And by the way, he managed that. Now, yes, the story has a lot of sex in it. It's not for kids. But it's a fun story. And while, yes, there's a lot of sex in it, it is not all about the sex. The sex, in some ways, it's actually part of the story. Yeah. And in a legitimate fashion. It's very good. Things go alternate universe right from the very get-go, of course. But then again, you know, I don't even know why people have to specify alternate universe for fan fiction stories. It's fan-written fiction, which means it is not what the original author wrote in their original work, which by definition makes anything a fan writes alternate universe. Yeah, it has to be. By absolute definition, anything a fan writes, anything that was written by not the author as part of the original work, is alternate universe. It has to be. Anyway, It goes it diverges quite a bit from the original. And it's very good. There's adventure, intrigue, it's funny. There's a lot of fun in that story. And I highly recommend it. And I have been yip-yapping on here for over 10 minutes now. It's time for me to shut up and say thanks for watching, take it easy, I am out of here. Link in description.
It's the TinFoilChef.